سيدنا محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد Inshallah, this circle of Tafsir Quran will be followed by the Majlis of Zikr, which takes place upstairs for 10 or 15 minutes, in which we have a Majlis of Durud Sharif and then a Majlis of Zikr. My respected elders and young brothers, at this very moment, in this majlis, in this sitting, I've managed to recite one verse, one ayat, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam by saying, Alam tara ila alladhina kharaju min diyarihim. Have you not seen, O Prophet, those who, being in thousands, in number there were thousands, they left their homes to escape death. فَقَالَ لَهُمُ اللَّهُ مُوتُوا. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, be dead. ثُمَّ أَحْيَاهُمْ. Then He raised them alive. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying Allah is graceful to people, but most of the people are ungrateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning an event that took place thousands of years before the coming of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Among the Banu Israel, the Jews, there were people living in a locality, in a city, which was struck by a plague, a virus, a deadly disease, and the people started panicking, and they eventually decided to leave their homes, leave the city, leave the area, and go somewhere. And they fear that we will die in this plague, in this deadly disease. It will kill all of us. In order to avoid death, they left their homes and they settled and they resided between two mountains. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this verse has warned and informed us. Remember, by being in a plague is not a source, or means of death. And by fleeing from an area in which there is this virus, it is not a cause of avoiding death. Death is an appointed time for everyone. Neither 1 second it comes earlier, nor 1 second later. On that very moment in which the time has been fixed, the soul is taken, no matter what happens. These people, in order to escape death, they left their homes. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is such a being, everyone are under under His power. Nobody is beyond Allah's power, and no one is beyond Allah's knowledge. Everyone are in the knowledge of Allah. What's happening, He is fully aware. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is powerful. Everyone are within His power. No one can challenge Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My young brothers, now at this very moment when we look around ourselves, there are so many things happening that are enough and sufficient to make us realize and ponder over our own selves. Because currently, China is going through hardship. A virus that has killed hundreds of people. Many want to flee from there, leave the country. The reason I chose this topic today, just to highlight what are the instructions and the guidance of Islam, our Prophet, our beloved Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in such matters. If something happens like this, one thing we should always keep in our mind, we should never ever give up doing du'as to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A hadith, or authentic hadith, narrated by Ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, in which he says that Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Ad-du'a'u yanfa'u mimma nazal wa mimma lam yanzil." Supplication, du'a, is always beneficial in calamities which already have come and we are going through them, and in calamities about which we have feared they will befall us. Dua, if the calamities are already there, we should not give up dua, we should make a dua to Allah that you remove this calamity. And if we have a fear of any calamity that may hit us, we should carry on making dua. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make this dua a barrier between us and the calamity. And Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam then at the end of this hadith, he said, "O slaves of Allah, never give up making dua. Always stick to this amal, supplication. Keep on making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us in His protection. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us all safe from all the divine calamities which are taking place around us. May Allah save us. And we should make dua for the humanity. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lift all these calamities from the humanity. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant every person, every human being safety, well-being, afiyat. Now, what are the guidance of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam regarding this matter? Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, on one occasion, once he set for, he embarked a journey to Syria. When he reached just very to the border of Syria, to Tabuk, the Battle of Tabuk, and when he reached there, he came to know that the whole of the Syria has been hit by a virus, by a plague. Now he stopped there and then he consulted all the companions. What should he do? Should he carry on his journey and enter Syria, or should he return back to Medina? And in this majlis, he was told that this plague, which is taking place which has spread in Syria, has killed thousands of people, including the companions of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and their successors, Tabi'in. Many Sahaba Ikram became shaheed in this virus. And this was the great calamity in the history of Syria. And it was known as, this plague was known as Amwas. Why? Amwas, it was a city near Baitul Maqdis, and it started from there. And from there, it spread through the whole country. And then he consulted with the Sahaba Ikram, what should we do? And there was no one who knew any guidance of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam regarding this matter. Nobody knew what to do. They said, we don't hardly need anything from Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Later on, Abdul Rahman bin Auf came forward and he said, yes, I've heard something from Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam regarding this. He said, I've heard Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam saying, this plague through which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punishes nations. And in the past, He punished people through this plague. And in the instruction Rasulullah gave us, if you come to know about an area in which the plague has spread, then you should not enter there. You should not go there. And if you are in that very area in which the plague has spread, then do not leave the area to escape death. Stay there. Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, then he ordered, well, we should go back. We should go back to Medina. Abu Ubaidah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who was the governor of Syria then, he was there. He said to Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Afirar min qadarillah, are you fleeing from the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He said, Oh Abu Ubaidah, I wish someone else made these comments besides you. I'm surprised that you are making this comment. Naam, nafirru min qadarillahi ila qadarillahi. We are fleeing from the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the other decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What did he mean? He meant that I am leaving and going back due to the instruction of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I am obeying Allah and His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam instructed us, when you hear about an area in which there has been the plague, has taken place and has spread, then He said, if you are not there, the outsiders shouldn't go there, and those who are inside, they shouldn't come out of there. So this is the instruction we have been given by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam regarding this matter. Now the question is why? Now this is the question, why the outsiders should not enter the area. The ulamas have given many answers to this question. They said, number one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made compulsory upon every person not to put himself in a danger. When you feel about a place in which you can put yourself in a danger, do not enter that place. Stay away from there. On one occasion, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, while he was walking under the wall, and the wall was about to fall, he very quickly ran off from there. Fearing that this may fall on me. So anything that can cause harm to our bodies, ourselves, then we should stay away from there. So if a place wherein there is a plague or virus, this is a threat to our life, we shouldn't go there. We should stay away from there. And the people who are there, why should they not come out from there? The reason is, the ulama, they say, those very people who are there, they will be carrying the germs of this virus. And when they will come out from there, they will spread this virus everywhere. They should stay there. Our Prophet ﷺ, he said this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the past, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punished the people through this plague. But it is a rahmat, a mercy for the believers. The believers who have been struck by this plague, and if they remain patient, and if they die, they will die as shaheed martyrs. So these people in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that these people, they left their homes to escape death. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed everyone to come that look, you can never ever escape the death. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the people, be dead. They all died. He sent 2 angels. They stood on both ends of that place, of that plain, and they screamed, and the people instantly died. The people, they instantly died there. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala making it clear to everyone that look, you can never escape death. If you think, if I enter there, if I enter into this place wherein there is a plague, I will die. Remember, this can never be, you don't know, this might not be a cause of your death. And if you flee from a place wherein there is a plague, you're thinking, having the belief that, if I flee, then I will escape death. No, you can't do it. Leaving an area where there is a plague, it is not a cause. It is not a cause to avoid death. Death is certain. It will come. Whether you are there in the area where there is a plague or you're not there, when the death will certainly arrive on the appointed time. So my young brothers, we should learn a lesson from this, what's happening in China. We should make a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah save the whole humanity from every calamities. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save all of us. We should always, when we hear about these things which are happening around us, we should always turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should always rectify our own self. We should look at our own self, check ourselves. What am I doing? Am I pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Am I doing something that is displeasing Allah? Or am I doing which is pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? A true believer, a wise person, he is the one, as-sa'idu man wa'iza bi ghayrihi. Who is a fortunate person? A good person is the one who learns from others. Who learns. Things are happening around, he takes, on the board and he learns and he takes a lesson. He learns a lesson from them. This can happen in this country here as well. This country, this place can take a place wherever and whenever and when Allah wishes or wills. So everything is in the control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing happens without will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything happens with the will of Allah. Everything is happening with the wish of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even a leaf cannot move from its place without the leave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, without permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should always pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as I mentioned on Sunday. We should always pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us afiyat, well-being, safety. We should never ever ask for calamities and masa'ibs. We should always ask Allah keep us safe. But if the calamity comes with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we should remain patient and make a dua that Allah lift this virus or lift this calamity and save us from this. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our sitting here. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina wa maulana Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa barik wa sallim. Allahumma rabbana atina fi dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhaban nar. Allahumma rabbana taqabbal minna innaka antas samiul alim wa tub alayna innaka antat tawwabur rahim. Wa sallallahu ala khayri khalqihi Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa barik wa sallim.